In the triangle PQR, PR is equal to 5, PQ is equal to 8, and the angle QPR is equal to 72 degrees. Find QR correct to 2 decimal places. So what we do is we start by drawing out a triangle, labeling one of the angles as P, another angle as Q, and the other angle as R, or the vertices, P, Q, and R. Then we let PR be 5, so PR we label as 5, PQ be 8, so PQ we label as 8, and the angle PQR, which is the angle P, is 72 degrees. We're trying to find QR, so we can label that as X. Next we have to label our triangle. So I'm going to label the side that I'm looking for as lowercase a, and I'm going to label the side that's opposite as uppercase A. So the 72 degrees is A, and the X that we're looking for is lowercase a. Then it doesn't really matter what way I label the other sides, but I'm going to label 5 as lowercase b, so this is going to be capital B, and the 8 as lowercase c, so that's going to be capital C. It's important that I label the side that I'm looking for as the A. So I've let A be the side QR, and angle A be the angle QPR, which is 72 degrees, and B and C can be the other two sides. Again, it doesn't matter which way. So we're going to use the cosine rule, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. And then we're going to substitute into our formula. So we swap the b for 5, so get 5 squared, plus we swap the c for 8, so get 8 squared. Bring down the minus and the 2, swap the b again for 5, with brackets around it. Swap the c for 8, with brackets around it, bring down the cos, and swap the a for 72. 5 squared is 25, 8 squared is 64, minus 2 by 5 by 8 is minus 80, and the minus 80 is stuck on to cos 72. Make sure that you don't put a plus in between. So 25 plus 64 minus 80 cos 72 gives us 64.2786 to 4 decimal places. So we're going to square root the 64.2786 to get 8.02, and this is the length of the side QR. So it's important to note that we use the cosine rule when we have two sides and an included angle. So for example, we have 8 and we have 5 and we have the included angle, or the angle in between. We have one side and another side and the angle that's in between. So we use the cosine rule when we have two sides and an included angle, or we've been given 3 sides and trying to find an angle. So this is when we use the cosine rule, whereas we use the sine rule if we have an angle and its opposite side. Example 2. In the triangle PQR, PR is equal to 3, PQ is equal to 6, and QR is equal to 5. Find the measure of the largest angle in the triangle and give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So we need to start this off by drawing out a triangle, and we label the vertices as P, Q, and R. So we've got P, Q, and R. We're going to let the side PR be 3, so we label that as 3. We're going to let the side PQ be 6, so we label that as 6. And we let the side QR be 5, so we label that as 5. We were asked to find the measure of the largest angle. It's important to note that the largest angle is opposite the longest side. And since 6 is the longest side, angle P or Q must be the largest angle. So I'm going to label that as X. That's what I'm looking for. So next I have to label my triangle ABC. So since this is the angle I'm looking for, I'm going to label it as capital A. So the side opposite it is going to be lowercase a. Once you've labelled the A, it doesn't really matter which way you label the B and the C. So I'm going to label this side as 3 as B. So the angle opposite is going to be capital B. And I'm going to label this side here as C. So 5 is now labelled as C. And this angle opposite is now capital C. So the reason that I label the angle I'm looking for as capital A is because there is a capital A in my formula. So my formula for the cosine rule is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. So there's a capital A in my formula, so I label the angle I'm looking for as capital A. Okay, so I let capital A be the angle PRQ, which is this angle here. Then lowercase a is going to be the side PQ, which is 6. So we've labelled that as A, lowercase a. And then B is going to be the side PR, which is 3. And C is going to be the side QR, which is 5. But remember, it doesn't really matter which way you label the B and the C, so long as the A is labelled correctly. So we're using the cosine rule. And the reason we know we're using the cosine rule is because we're given 3 sides and we're trying to find an angle. So we have a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. We swap the a for 6, so we get 6 squared, equals, we swap the b for 3 squared, plus we swap the c for 5, plus 5 squared, minus 2, swap the b for 3 with brackets around it, swap the c for 5 with brackets around it, cos of a. Now we can call this cos of x or leave it as cos of a, it doesn't matter. So 6 squared is 36, 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25, add them together to get 34. Minus 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5 is minus 30, and that's stuck on to cos of a. Make sure it's stuck on. Some people make a mistake and put a plus in between here. So we're going to bring the minus 30 cos of a over the equal sign. It becomes plus 30 cos of a. And we're going to bring the 36 over the equal sign. It becomes minus 36. And 34 minus 36 is minus 2. So then we're going to divide across by 30 to get the cos of a on its own. So we get minus 2 over 30, which is minus 1 over 15, which is minus 0.06667, rounded off to 5 decimal places. So remember, we're looking for an angle. We do not know what the angle, so we have to use the inverse function. So we're going to do cos to the power of minus 1, so the inverse function of cos multiplied by minus 0.06667. We get 93.82 degrees to 2 decimal places.